Yes, my lord. Just for the indulgence for yesterday.
Yeah. Any comments, Mr. noNxumalo, regarding these exhibits of warning forms from various police stations?
My lord, I have no objection if the forms are handed in as exhibits.
Okay,
Thank you.
But I do not have any objections.
Mr. Mnisi?
No objection as well, madam.
Mr.
No
Mnisi?
objection.
Okay. But from a practical point of view, and this is just my comment, it has got nothing to do with the case. You see that from SMS3, take a case like where, for instance, in Marikana, when they shot about 38 or 34 people,
Yes.
right?
Talking about, yes, in the
and
region.
you are a station commander of Marikana, and you want to use this form, the very form SMS3, which Mr. Mnisi was saying is the only valid one. How do you do it in a police station like Marikana, where you've got to work alone? You're alone. If you don't delegate, how do you purposefully service about 34 people with warning
The warning
statements?
statements. Well, I suppose that's where resources will then kick in, and perhaps a team of investigators will then
Yes, it's obvious.
be established to take the
Yeah, it's
warning
obvious.
statements.
The station commander, if he wants to use that form on the basis that the prosecutor approaches him and requests warning statements in terms of that SMS3 form, he's going to have to delegate. I mean, if he wants to do the job properly,
Yes,
he has to delegate to senior police.
yes.
But anyway, that's my view. Yeah.
And I think that's what...
Yeah, I know, Brigadier uGininda says that. But just from a practical point of view,
Yes.
it's obvious. Somebody must delegate.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Newman.
My lord, may I state that on behalf of Mr. Mgomezulu, I have no objection if
Okay,
the warning
fine.
statement forms
All
are
right,
handed
yeah.
in as exhibits. Thank you.
Okay.
Brigadier, there's few questions that I want to canvass from you regarding the events of the 18th of June 2020.
I'm listening, my lord. Kunemibuzo nje embalwa-ke engifisa ukuthi ngakubuza yona-ke mayelana nalokho okwenzeka nge-18 zikaJune 2020 yabo ngilalele.
After the engagement, Brigadier, that you had with accused number 2, where did you go to after that?
I came back to Gauteng, my lord, where I was dropped, took my car and I went home.
Uma ngiqeda-ke laphayana ukuthi ngihlangane naye ngikhulume naye kumsolo wesibili ngabuyela khona-ke eGoli la engahliswa khona-ke ngashiywa khona-ke ngathatha imoto yami ngaye ekhaya.
Sergeant Mokhane, I assume he also left with the accused, that is accused number 2.
My lord, but we didn't live together. I left them there. I was driving with Sergeant Mukula. I think I indicated this part even previously, my lord.
Yes.
Ngihambanga nabo-ke oMokhane ngabashiya khona lapho ngikushilo-ke lokhu nangaphambilini ukuthi mina-ke ngangihamba naye uSergeant Mukula.
On the 18th of June 2020, Brigadier, that is after you had left Western area, where you had with, the engagement that you had with accused number 2. Did you at some point on that day, the 18th of June 2020, talk to Sergeant Mokhane?
Yes, my lord. I think I may not know the time. The time when Sergeant Mokhane spoke to me was in relation to the challenges I think was having with the car. That's so far. It was telephonically, not in person, my lord.
Ngikhulumile-ke yebo naye-ke ngalelo langa lelo uSergeant Mokhane ukuthi nje isikhathi-ke angisasikhumbuluke kodwa-ke wayengitshela-ke ngey'namba ayehlangana nazo-ke mayelana nayo imoto.
What did you suggest when he reported to you that they had a problem with the car that they were using? Was there any suggestion that you made?
Yes, my lord. And with greatest respect, I dealt with this part that we should arrange escort, because I knew he was with accused number 2 in the car as they were trying to deal with the mechanical issue with Sergeant Mabena.
Yebo-ke khona-ke ngakusho-ke ukuthi akenze njani-ke futhi-ke lokhu-ke ngikhulumile ngako ngaphambilini ukuthi-ke akazame-ke i-escort nanjengoba ngangazi-ke noma phecelezi-ke abazomphelekezela-ke ngangazi ukuthi yena noSergeant Mabena bahamba naye umsolwa wesibili.
We'll also go back, Brigadier, to the record, the transcribed record of the 7th of September 2023, at page 47, line 11 of the record. That is now the stage when Constable Zongo was being led by my colleague Advocate Baloy. It reads as follows, and I quote: Mr. Baloy, yes, but tell the court about what you mentioned earlier on about the telephone call. Mr. Zongo, I then said to him that I spoke to him telephonically. I said to him, Muzi, why is it that your relatives want to shoot me? Mr. Baloy, yes, but intervened. Mr. Zongo, because I also do not know anything about this matter. And I did not know anything. Close quotation.
My Lord, I'm not sure what am I supposed to comment? I'm not so sure. I didn't get the question.
Ubufakazi ke bakhe ke uZungu bazo ke i7 unyaka ondlule 2023 kufundeka ngalendlela ke tshela ke inkantolo mayelana nalokho okushilo ke ngaphambilini mayelana ke nokuxhumana ngocingo uZungu ngase ngithi kuyena ke ngakhuluma naye ngocingo ngathi kuyena muzi kungani abantu bakini befuna ukungidubula ngoba uZungu futhi ngoba ke akukho mina engikwaziyo mayelana nalo daba futhi akukho ebengikwazi uthi ke impendulo ke ubhekadiye angizwanga ke umbuzo noma angazi ke yini ekufanele ngisho kulokho.
Yes, because I was just highlighting the events. That is the evidence of Constable Zungu on the 7th of September 2023. But the gist of my question, Brigadier, is as follows. Zungu, in that passage of the record, says at some point he telephoned accused number 1. And then he asked accused number 1 about the fact that there were some relatives of accused number 1 who wanted to shoot him. And then he says to accused number 1, I don't know anything about this. I have no knowledge about this case. That's the gist of my question. So I'm trying to put it to you, Brigadier, that Zungu has always been consistent. I had highlighted to you the events of the 13th of November 2019 at Telkom Towers, where Zungu says he told you that he did not know anything about this matter.
No, but my Lord, but that context was not accurate. I understood the two meetings being said as taking place in Kempton Park. That's what I understood the last part that we dealt with yesterday. And I indicated, my Lord, in my evidence in chief during the trial, within trial, that the first meeting I had with Constable Zungu was at Telkom Towers, and it was after I received from the National Commissioner, which said there is someone who's got information about this matter. That's all that was said. After I met him, my Lord, he gave me the information in relation to accused 1 and 2, but coming from his father. Then the arrangement was then made that we must get hold of the father. That is the sequence of the events. So I could not have asked him about any of the accused, including accused 1 and 2, because I didn't know. Mine was to say, this is the person that you were waiting for. I'm being told you have information about this matter. Then we started engaging, my Lord. Subsequent to that, we exchanged numbers. Efforts were made to find the father. I've testified about this not only yesterday, my Lord, a number of times, that eventually on the meeting of the 13th of November 2013, where Brigadier Perumal and Tony is one and the same person. So there were no two meetings in Kempton Park. It's one meeting. Where then it was confirmed that then the father will be available, and the date of the 7th of November then occurred when the father, now Mr. Absalom Zungu, came and disposed the affidavit. That is the sequence of events, and there's no misunderstanding in that regard, my Lord.
Engikuzwayo ke ukuthi ke lana ngathi kukhulunywa ke ngemihlangano emibili ke kodwa umhlangano kwakuwumhlangano owodwa kuphela noma owodwa vo lo ose Kempton Park futhi ke makhulunywa ngoThoni khulunywa ngoPherman khulunywa ngomuntu oyedwa futhi ke okwenzeka ukuthi akukho la engangingambuza khona ke ngabasolwa ke umsolo wokuqala kanye nomsolo wesibili ngoba ke alukho ulwazi enganginalo mina ngoba ke engangimbizela kona umhlangano wawumayela nobaba wakhe ukuthi kuze ubaba wakhe ngoba uma esho nayo wathi lokho ukutshela ubaba wakhe ukuthi ke umsolo wokuqala nowesibili banolwazi noma kungenzeka ukuthi bayambandakanyeka kulesi sigameko lesi ngoba ngeke ke ngimbuze mina ukuthi wazini mayela necala leli.
Now lastly, my Lord, the passage or the portion that have been quoted to me, and this is the difficulty I have because I don't know how do I comment on the proceedings that I was not part of, because snapshots of the proceedings of the record are given to me. I don't have the entire completion of the record, because yesterday it was made clear that if you go to a certain page, this is now from the state advocate, there's an explanation given in page 60. I was not here, my Lord. I do not have access to the record, so how do I then assist the court by commenting on a limited portion? It's a different story, my Lord, if I had the entire record, evidence in chief, cross-examination, re-examination, and even then I'm not so sure if I'm qualified to analyze all those things, but I do not have that record, my Lord. It is not my evidence. The person who is best to answer what Advocate noNxumalo is actually putting to me is Constable Zungu himself, my Lord.
Futhi ke okunye ke manje ngifundelwa lana ke ukuthi ke ngelanga elithile la enkantolo ufakazi washo lokhu ke kodwa ke izolo umshushisi ushilo ke ukuthi ke akungafundwa nje indawo ethizo kodwa uma ngabe kufundwa ke akufundwe ke kuhlanganiswe ngokuphelele ngoba ke uadvocate umaloyi ukhulumile ke ngopage 60 la athi khona ke kunala achaza khona ke uZungu manje ke nami ke ngangingekho la enkantolo angikwazi ke ukuthi ngaphendulela ke uZungu into ayisho uyena umuntu ongaphendula lapho.
So Brigadier, the issue of Absalom Zungu came through Constable Zungu on the 13th of November 2019.
No, but that's not what I said, my Lord. That's not what I said.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. The issue, how did you know about Absalom Zungu?
My Lord, I've dealt with this part as well. I've indicated that, and I've just dealt with it now, a few minutes ago, seconds actually, that when I received a call from the National Commissioner to say there is a person who's got information about this matter, that's all that was said. He's sitting at the office of the National Commissioner. I did indicate even yesterday that the former National Commissioner was General Sitole. I proceeded there. Constable Zungu was then introduced to me, my Lord, to go introduce myself. Then part of accused 2 involvement in this matter coming from his father was then brought to my attention by Constable Zungu. First here in Pretoria, where he mentioned that this is information I have, but it's coming from my father. And then I said, I need them to speak to the father as the author of the information. So the name came there for the first time. The meeting of the 13th, it was the follow-up of numerous discussions we were having in between, but telephonically to check on him as to whether was he able to convince his father to come through. Then in between, and I've also stated, my lord, that somewhere we lost contact in terms of his number, where now I had to phone Major General Lishabane because I knew this member is working under his cluster. He assisted me to find Constable Zungu, and then subsequently that meeting of the 13th then occurred, where then the confirmation of the meeting of the 17th of November 2019 was then confirmed. So it wasn't on the 19th, it was a follow-up of meetings, my lord.
Lana ke okwenzeka-ke ngibishilo-ke ngaphambilini ukuthi-ke ngathola ucingo olubuya ehhovisi lakhe owayeyi-commissioner ngaleso sikhathi-ke uGeneral Sithole ukuthi-ke kunomuntu onolwazi-ke noma information anayo mayelana necala leli ngeza-ke la ngahlangana khona-ke noZungu ngazethula kuyena naye-ke wethula kumina-ke wangitshela-ke la khona kwavela khona-ke igama likamsola wesibili asho-ke ukuthi-ke ubaba wakhe wamtshela lokho ngase ngisho-ke ukuthi kuzofanele ngikhulume nobaba wakho-ke ngoba uyena-ke umuntu onolwazi-ke mayelana nalo daba lolu ila khona-ke manje kwase kuhlelwa-ke umhlangano olandelayo umhlangano lowo-ke wangeyi-13 kodwa-ke maphakathi nendawo-ke kwakukhulunyiswana-ke ngizama ukufuna ukwazi-ke ukuthi uphumelele yini ekuthini akhulume nobaba wakhe ukuthi eze ngaphambi kokuthi-ke kuyoba khona-ke umhlangano loya wangeyi-17.
In the meeting that you had with Constable Zungu, to the effect that his father had information about this case regarding accused number 2, was it only accused number 2 or any of the accused person?
It was in relation to accused 1 and 2, my lord.
Umhlangano-ke lowo engangenawo-ke kanye naye mayelana nokuthi kwavela igama likabani kanye naye Constable Zungu kwakumayelana nomsola wokuqala kanye nowesibili. Kunakhona nje engishileke ukuthi okunye ubrigadier akushilo ukuthi-ke kunesikhathi la khona-ke wayengasenazo iy'namba zakhe uConstable Zungu ngoba-ke wayemazi ukuthi wayesebenza ngaphansi kwakhe uMajor General Lishabane waqhubana naye-ke uMajor General Lishabane ukuthi aphinde futhi athole iy'namba zakhe uConstable Zungu.
Yeah, we'll just proceed in this issue shortly. So, Constable Zungu, Brigadier, tells you that his father, Absalom Zungu, has the information about the involvement of accused number 1 and 2 in this matter.
Yes, my lord, that is the essence of,
Yes.
of what he said, and that is contained in the statement of Absalom Zungu, my lord.
Yebo ikona lokho angitshela kona-ke uConstable Zungu ukuthi ubaba wakhe-ke unolwazi noma information anayo mayelana-ke nokubandakanyeka kwakhe umsola wokuqala nowesibili kukhona futhi lokho kwistatement sakhe uZungu.
So, a further meeting where Absalom Zungu, the father of Constable Zungu, was going to be present was arranged on the 17th of November 2019.
No, that's not how I said it, my lord. The meeting took place on the 13th of November 2019. Then on that date, an arrangement then was made where on the 17th of November 2019, the father then came through and he disposed an affidavit in terms of his knowledge, my lord.
Engikushilo ukuthi-ke kwakunomhlangano wangeyi-13 zikaNovember 2019 kulowo mhlangano ila khona-ke kwathathwa isinqumo-ke ukuthi-ke ngeyi-17 zikaNovember 2019 ubaba kaConstable Zungu uzozake ngempela wafika-ke ngeyi-17 ila anikezake ngestatement mayelana nalokho akwaziyo noma ayekwazi.
In the meeting that you had on the 17th of November 2019, where you met Absalom Zungu, where was Constable Zungu?
He brought him, my lord, but when I interviewed the father, he left. He went out. He was not part of the interaction, even the taking down of the statement.
uConstable Zungu yena-ke owaletha ubaba wakhe kodwa-ke uma sengiqala ukukhuluma naye-ke ubaba wakhe sengithatha istatement ubaba wakhe-ke wayengekho yena lapho ngoba wamletha wase ephuma-ke yena.
Is it correct, Brigadier, that on the 31st of May 2023, you obtained a statement from Constable Zungu?
I may not know the date, my lord, exactly, but yes, there was a statement commissioned by me from Constable Zungu last year, my lord, 2023.
Kusengenzeka-ke ukuthi ilanga noma-ke idate ngingayazi kodwa yebo-ke kunyaka ondlule ngayo 2023 kunestatement-ke ngasithatha kuyena uConstable Zungu.
Why did you obtain the statement from Constable Zungu? Where were you with Constable Zungu?
In our offices, my lord. I think also I dealt with this part. In our offices. That's where it was obtained.
Sasekumahhovisi-ke esebenzela kuwona-ke noma amahhovisi ethu bengikushilo-ke lokho ngaphambilini uma ngithatha sona leso statement uZungu.
Who was present?
I don't recall, my lord, but it was not just the two of us, but there were members. It's a police office, so I was not the only one, my lord.
Angisakhumbula ukuthi obani ababekhona-ke kodwa ayekhona-ke amalunga ngoba-ke amahhovisi amaphoyisa ukuthi angikhumbuli nje ukuthi kwakuwobani.
Where you obtained the statement from Constable Zungu? Was it in the charge office or in your office?
No, my lord, I don't work. It's our offices, my lord. It doesn't compromise of a charge office. It's specialized in it, so you have offices. So it was
Yes.
a ballroom,
just
which
a
is
ballroom.
yes, which is part of the police building, my lord.
Yes.
Asinawo-ke ama-charge office-ke amahhovisi la esisebenzela khona ukuthi kune-charge office.
Who was present in that boardroom with Constable Zungu? It was yourself and Constable Zungu. Was there any other person who was there?
Yeah, but my lord, that's what I said. I don't recall. I'll have to really try to think back. I don't recall, but I know it was not just the two of us. It was not just me and Constable Zungu.
Ngiyazi ukuthi kwakungesithina sobabili ke kwafanele ngiyobheka ke ukuthi bakubani abanye ababekhona.
The statement of Constable Zungu was handed in. It forms part of the exhibit. It is exhibit AA of the record. It is a typed statement from Constable Zungu. Who typed the statement from Constable Zungu?
It will be one of the members in the office. Since I said, my lord, I was not alone. I just don't recall exactly who, but it was typed at our office, my lord.
Omunye ke ozakwethu noma ke sebenza nabo ke office ingabisho ukuthi angikhumbula ukuthi ubani okuyena ke owatype istatement leso sika Zungu.
So Constable Zungu will be relating to you or making a statement to you, and there will be a member who will be typing the statement or whatever that Constable Zungu was telling you.
Yes, but how the commission, my lord, if I can just go straight to it. Statement get typed, you then take through the deponent after it's done, whether handwritten or typed, and then when the deponent then agrees that what is contained above is correct, that's when the commissioning is done. It's irrelevant as to who's typing it, my lord. I think if that's what Advocate noNxumalo wants to go to.
Ukuthi ke ubani ke owasithypa ke akusona ke udaba lolo okwenzekayo ke noma ke sibhalwa ngesandla noma ke siyatypwa ke ukuthi mase qediwe ke ila khona ke manje uphinda uqhubeka ke ngaso istatement leso uqinisekisa kumuntu lo obekhuluma ke uma ngabe sevuma ke yonke into ebhaliwe lapho ila khona ke esesibe kwakhona noma ke esekufungiswa khona sekusayinwa.
In other words, my lord, I'm saying even an individual can make a statement at home on his or her own time and then take it to the commissioner of oath at the police station to have it commissioned, and they'll make that person take an oath. It doesn't mean that the commissioner of oath must actually be the one writing the statement or typing it.
Okunye futhi ke umuntu sengazibhalela sona ke statement leso endlini ngesikhathi sakhe ezwe naso ke sizo commissioner ke lana ke bese siyasayindwa futhi ke akusho ukuthi ke lowo okuyena ufungisayo uyena ozo type statement.
When Constable Zungu was making this statement, was it something from his head, or is there anything that made him to refresh what he told you?
I seem to recall, my lord, that there were notes. I may stand under correction. He had some notes of some sort, my lord, in my recollection, my lord.
Uma ngabe ke uConstable Zungu wayekhuluma ke kusho lokho intshela kona ke ingaba khona yini ayikhumbuza ngako noma ke wayekusho nje lokho ke awayikhumbula la kena ekhanda. Ngicabanga ukuthi ke kwakunama notes ayekhona ke kuse ngenzeka ukuthi angikhumbuli kahle kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi kwakunama notes noma khona kwakubhalwe phansi.
What was contained in those notes?
My lord, it was his notes. I don't know, but he had notes. And when it was done and he has confirmed that what is contained in a statement, it's the true reflection of what he told us, he left with those notes. It wasn't a statement, it was some form of notes. That's my recollection, my lord.
Yini ke yayilapho ke kulawo notes noma lokho kwakubhalwe phansi ke okwama notes akhe ke noma ke okwakubhalwe uyena ke phansi emuva kokuthi eseqinisekisile ukuthi lokho kubhaliwe ke kuyiqiniso ke waphinda wahamba nawo ke lawo notes.
What happened to those notes?
My lord, with greatest respect, I just said he left
With the notes?
with them. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And kodwa kusho ke manje ukuthi wahamba nawo.
In the statement, Brigadier, that was made by Constable Zungu to you, the typed version of the statement, Exhibit AA, is there anywhere where he mentioned his father, Absalom Zungu?
In what context, my
As a
lord?
person who had the source of the information regarding accused number 1 and 2.
No. Well, firstly, my lord, one will have to go through that statement because I can't remember if at some stage he mentions his father or not. But the purpose of the interview, it wasn't about his father. His father's part was done, and that's it. We had left that part, my lord. It was insofar as his name coming up in the interviews or the statement that I obtained from the likes of Makosonke Zungu, the likes of Kobenu Zungu, where I then said, but your name keeps on coming up. And I've testified about this, my lord, that eventually when he said to me, yes, I was there, and when I wanted to establish but why, then he said he was scared, to come forth, and then he indicated what he recalled. And what he recalled and what he said to me, my lord, it's self-explanation in the statement that he gave me. It's in that statement what he discussed with me, my lord.
Ingaba ke statement lesike khona la khona ke akhuluma ngobaba wakhe ke kuzofanele ngibuye ngiyobheka ke lapho kodwa ke uma sengithatha istatement kuyena ke uZungu sase sindlulile ke manje kudaba kababa wakhe manje kwakungokuthi ngisho kuyena ke ukuthi njalo nje uma ke ngikhulumisana nabofakazi sikhuluma ngabo Makhosonke uSifiso uGwabeni uZungu uSimpiwe ukuthi ke igama lakho liyavela njalo kungani ke wase esho ke manje emuva ukuthi eseshilo ke ukuthi ebesaba qala emuva kwalokho waseqhubeka ke esho ukuthi impela ke wayekhona lapho sase singasakhulumi ke ngobaba wakhe kodwa nangikhuluma nje ngaye ukuthi igama lakhe lalivele.
It is not in the statement. The issue of Absalom Zungu, it is not in the statement of Constable Zungu.
My lord, with greatest respect, that's why I'm saying I'm failing to understand the relevancy of why would I ask him at that stage about his father. He brought his father much earlier. He brought him to me. I knew that aspect. And then subsequent to that, then the efforts were made until we find the father. Why must it be involved or contained in the statement that he gives me? I don't understand why should I have included that part.
Angikuzwa noma ngikuzwisisi kahle ke uma ukuthi manje kwakuzoba kwakuyini ezobangela ukuthi manje udaba kababa wakhe kube khona ke ngoba bese sindlulile ke ubaba wakhe manje bese ngazi ke ngobaba wakhe so angizwa kahle ukuthi kwakungani kuzofanele ukuthi kukhulunywe ngobaba wakhe.
It is not in the statement of Constable Zungu, Brigadier, that on the 13th of November, or sometime before the 13th of November 2019, that he had mentioned the issue of his father, having knowledge about the involvement of accused number 1 and 2.
My lord, the issues of the 13th of November were preceding the statement of Zungu,
Yes.
of Constable Zungu. When Constable Zungu made a statement, it had nothing to do with what happened previously. I know he's the one that came to the office of the National Commissioner because I met him. There was no dispute about that, insofar as him and I are concerned. The issue of the 17th of November, I know he brought his father. I've testified about it. What made me to approach him was the fact that his name was mentioned where there was a meeting or certain utterances were made at Basotuni Hostel, where the accused, it said, were present, and then his name was present. And I wanted to establish, were you indeed present and why did you inform me? It had nothing to do with the father or what the father told me. I knew he was present when the father told me, my lord, sorry, when the father was brought to me, he brought the father.
Udaba-ke lokuthi kwenzekani nge-13 kwenzekani-ke ngazo i-17 kwasekudlulile-ke lokho kwakungekho-ke kulesi statement uZungu awayinikeza sona-ke kunyaka ondlule okwakufuna-ke noma kudinga ukuthi-ke akhulume ngako kona lokho nanje bangishilo-ke ukuthi kwakumayelana nodaba-ke lokuthi-ke njalo uma ngikhulumisana nalabo fakazi labo igama lakhe liyavela-ke ukuthi nkathi kwakunomhlangano eBasotho Hostel kuloko okwashiwo lapho wayekhona-ke nokuthi kwakungani engangitsheli.
You are right, Brigadier. It was known to you, but it was not known to the accused, and it was not documented in the exhibit of, or in the statement of Constable Zungu for us, the defense, to consult with the accused.
My lord, that's why I'm saying I'm failing to find the relevance of why it was not what led me to Zungu, to Constable Zungu, insofar as that led to the disposal of that statement by him. It was his name coming up, and I'm repeating it, my lord, with greatest respect and numerous times now, that his name comes up on the day where it's being said there was a planning. Where the conspiracy occurred at Basotuni Hostel, and these accused are mentioned to be present. Then it is mentioned that he was there as participant of gatherers because it was a social gathering by people from homelands. So I followed it up to say, but yes, you may have brought information about your father, but your name is coming up on this social gathering that you were present, and that resulted in the reasons that he gave me why he didn't tell us because he was scared, and then subsequently the disposal of this affidavit, my lord.
Ingakho ngisho ukuthi-ke angizwisisi-ke ukuthi udaba lolu-ke engibuzwa ngalo kababa wakhe ukuthi lihlangana kuphi-ke nalokhu ngoba ngishilo-ke ukuthi kwakumayelana-ke nokuhlangana-ke okwakusehostel ngalelo langa lelo nabasolwa nabo bekhona-ke nokuthi igama lakhe naleke livela-ke ngifuna ukwazi-ke kuyena ukuthi kwakungani engangitsheli esho-ke nokuthi-ke wayesaba kwangasilona udaba olwaluhlangene nokulethwa kwababa wakhe noma ubaba wakhe ulwazi ayenalo.
I can add, my lord, because I can also add that because if you look at the statement of Mr. Absalom Zungu, he does indicate. So the notion of the presence of his son is mentioned there because he says after obtaining that information or the suspicion that accused 1 and 2 were involved in the killing of Senzo Meiwa, he told his son, who is a police officer. It's mentioned in that statement. So it's not a new assertion that is being said now by me or by Zungu. In the statement of the father that was obtained on the 17th of November 2019, the father says, after I came across this information and the possible involvement of accused 1 and 2 in the murder of Senzo Meiwa, I took this information to my son, who is a policeman, and that is Constable Zungu, my lord.
Futhi-ke lokhu akusiyona-ke into entsha-ke nokuthi-ke mhlawumbe isikhulunywa yimina-ke manje kodwa-ke kwistatement sakhe ubaba u-Absalom Zungu uyasho-ke ukuthi emuva kokuthi sengizwile-ke noma sengikutholile-ke lokhu ngibandakanyeka kwakhe umsolo wokuqala kanye nowesibili ngakuthatha-ke lokhu ngakuyisa kuyena-ke oyindodana yami uyena uConstable Zungu oyiphoyisa ikhona kwistatement sakhe u-Absalom Zungu.
You also testified, Brigadier, that the... Sorry, let me rephrase the question. At any point when you met Constable Zungu, you did not have the Section 205 records of accused number 3.
No, my lord. Yes. Yes, but no. So that's why I want us, my lord, to put it into context. When Constable Zungu came to dispose this affidavit this matter was already in session. What we did not have is the Section 205 insofar as the date of the incident. In other words, the Section 205 that we were able to recover at a later stage. But the ones that starts after the date of incidents, we already had those ones and they were already disclosed. What was missing, because my recollection, Constable Zungu testified before Pinky, these other ones were not known to the state. That covers the date of the incident. This is now the 26th of October 2014, my lord.
Uma-ke uConstable Zungu-ke esekhuluma-ke noma-ke eza-ke yebo imininingwane lena mayelana-ke nama-205s akhe umsola wesithathu-ke mayelana nalesi sikhathi lesi sange-26 October 2014 sasingenawo-ke kodwa-ke ama-205s amanye sasesinawo-ke futhi-ke uZungu wethule ubufakazi bakhe-ke ngaphambi kwakhe uPinky Vitelingam. Manje-ke kusengase sikhathi-ke sikaPinky Vitelingam sesizothola-ke manje la ama-205 akhe umsola wesithathu aso lesa sikhathi sange-26 October 2014.
So the Section 205 records in respect of accused number 3's number are the Section 205 records in respect of the Cleveland case?
I beg your pardon, my lord, I don't follow the question.
Yes, the Section 205 records that you had were in respect of the application in terms of Section 205 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which was made by Sergeant Dlamini. Is that correct?
Insofar as Cleveland case is
Yes.
concerned, yes, but not covering, you see, this is important.
26th of October
Yes,
2014, yes.
because the ones also that we discovered at a later stage were made by the very same team, my lord, but under a different case number. So it's not correct that these two Section 205s were made under Cleveland case. The ones that we had were under Cleveland case, because under Cleveland case, when I conducted investigation, we then analyzed what was done under that case. That's why we're able to follow the firearm, follow the downloadings, and then follow the 205 under Cleveland 96. Unknown to the investigation team, my lord, that the same number was then requested by the same investigators under a different case number, and that is the date that covers the date of this offense. And this date comes before the Cleveland case. That's why I'm saying, my lord, so you couldn't find that information under Cleveland 96. So, but to come back to the question, when we dealt with Constable Zongo, what was available was what was contained insofar as Cleveland 96 of 2015, not the one that covers the date of this offense.
Okwenzeka-ke ukuthi yebo thina-ke ama-205 esasinawo-ke ama-205 ayengaphansi kwakhe-ke icase uCleveland 962 of 2015, futhi-ke kwathola ilona-ke lela thimba leliphenya, kodwa-ke esasingakwazi-ke ukuthi kwalelo thimba lelo-ke laphinde futhi-ke lafuna-ke ama-205 efunela-ke elinye icala, kodwa icala lelo la lesi sikhathi lesi-ke kwenzeka ngalo icala leli le-26 ka-October 2014.
When did it come to your knowledge, Brigadier, that there were Section 205 records of the number belonging to accused number 3 that Sergeant Masondo and Sergeant Dlamini had applied? When did that come to your knowledge?
Yeah, but which ones, my lord? Because
The
we're
Section
talking about
205 in respect of the Cleveland case.
Okay, so with regard to the Cleveland, my lord, it came to my attention when the Cleveland, the identification of accused number 3 as being the first suspect. In other words, after the existence of Exhibit HH and JJ, my lord, where we started now the analyzing of who is this person. That analysis, my lord, took us to Cleveland immediately and the Alexander case. There were two cases that were identified immediately, Cleveland and Alexander case.
Yes.
Then under those two cases, whatever that was contained there, including the Section 205 that were done under that case, were obtained, including the downloading and subsequently the issues of the firearm. So all that, including the docket itself, was actually drawn around that period after his name was mentioned. That was way before even the matter was taken for a decision at the DPP, my lord.
When was that? In which year was that?
That is 2020, my lord.
Yes.
Remember, Exhibit HH and JJ came into existence in June 2020.
Yes.
Lokhu-ke kuzovela-ke emuva-ke kokuvela kuka-Exhibit HH no-JJ, lokho-ke kwenzeka ngo-2020. Uma ngabe sekuvela-ke manje igama lakhe-ke umsolo wesithathu, ila manje saya khona-ke siyobheka-ke konke lamacala-ke amabili-ke uCleveland kanye futhi-ke ne-Alexander, kwayodonswa-ke noma kuyotholwa-ke konke lokho okwenziwa-ke kulelo cala lelo, ngisho nalo-ke idokodo nalo-ke laselithathwa likhishwa-ke manje-ke lokho kwenzeka-ke ngoJune, noma ngoba-ke u-HH no-JJ benzeka ngoJune ka-2020.